to Cannes. Traveling to another country feels a lot like being transported through movies and film. We close our eyes on one land and awaken in another, a place strange and distinct, free from the structure and expectations of our ordinary lives, where the romantics and the dreamers have their perspectives radically shaped and redirected. As someone who's left the country only once before, and never as an adult, I had high hopes in my mind that this most recent trip would serve as a kind of transformative experience, a story equally worthy of occupying space on the big screen. I've heard the supposed benefits that travel offers, its metaphysical advantages, time for self-reflection, meditation, and connection with others. And for film lovers, critics, and creators alike, it's an idea that manifests as a physical space, a place called Cannes, a land for the slaves of naivete, who still choose, perhaps foolishly, to believe in magic. It's a space you have to experience to really understand it fully, where the love letters to cinema are first etched into our psyche. More than anything, it represents a clash between two distinct forces that make it even more surreal to experience: the serene, picturesque qualities of the Mediterranean south of France, and the markets, the mechanism of industry, where the business of the cinematic machine is set into motion. There's budgets being slashed, marketing, the buying and selling of old IP, the production of new, collaborations and conspiracies, a handshake, the difference between whether anything from our favorite indie darlings to the big budget auteurs will ever see the light of day. It's the underlying force that even the most hopelessly romantic film lover must reconcile. Movies are indeed a business. All of this is set against the backdrop of coastal France's breathtaking scenery. A morning in Eze's medieval history and sublime naturalistic views, overlooking rocky cliffs, yields to nights on the beaches of Cannes, a cocktail in one hand, a cigar in the other. Exploring Picasso's house in Antibes one day, we find ourselves at Matisse's in Nice the next, unsure where these revived phantoms of France's artistic past will lead us towards. There's history here. Old history kept in stasis, like a frieze. You can read stories and etchings of Marseille roof tiling, or in the wrinkled faces of France's sun-soaked elderly inhabitants. It's warm weather that informs a kind of artistic sensibility, light that shimmers off the water just right, cinematic in and of itself, that has doubtlessly inspired countless artists, equally as mesmerized by the French Riviera as we are. Then you get to the urban city centers. By moped or bus or bike, it could be hard to traverse by car. Shopping centers and aisles of commerce, thoroughfares and winding streets with no rigidity or uniformity, the mass of people in no rush to get to whatever destination they're headed to. We're exposed to a different kind of hustle here, not to get to work, but to get to experience. And there's a great deal to experience indeed. It's a landscape littered with cinemas, more accessible to the average person than nice waiters, a stench that sticks with you, especially that cigarette smoke, a visual we already consider synonymous with cinema. You might hate it at first, but eventually you begin to rely on it, following the wispy smoke trail to the next cafe or bar or restaurant, where the food is terrible, not one of their strong suits. You grab a pastry and a latte instead. In the midst of all of this is Cannes, a film festival of epic proportions, steeped in so much grandeur it's co-opted the city's name. Just Cannes, it's cleaner. There's red carpets and there's bright lights, yes, but you know that already. You've seen it before on the night with far more cultural cachet. But if the Oscars are where the stars are born, Cannes is where they're conceived, where the romanticism of the French Riviera speaks their very being into existence, a romanticism we take part in through our exaltation of their greatness. There's madness in the air here, the kind of madness that compels someone to start lining up for a screening 12 hours before the show's start time. Dressed to the nines in their very best suit or evening gown, holding crude paper signs, begging for tickets, persistent in their delusional pursuit to see a piece of storytelling, of cinematic history. When you find a moment of calm from the madness, you'll see their stories happening all around us. There are filmmakers here with lifelong ambitions of creating award-winning work, producers and distributors hoping to strike the next big deal, make the next big shift that'll transform the framework of the industry forever. There's the intimate moments, late evening dinner conversations that bring us closer to strangers, world premieres, a bow tie given as a gift to someone who's misplaced theirs. When our night ends, it's time for another's, the luck that's passed on, the mystery they must uncover for themselves. The people who arrive hoping to catch a glimpse of a celebrity on the red carpet, who in the distance look smaller, almost human compared to their monumental status on the big screen. When it comes to travel, your feet planted on the ground feels the same anywhere. It's only when you look up that you begin to recognize just how astonishing the world is, how different this one is from the one you just inhabited. So much opportunity to behold its spectacle, its wonder. You begin to become cognizant of the space that one occupies. The difference between waiting outside online or standing inside the Grand Lumiere isn't so different, but it is. A world away from forever. The doors close. It's not your night. It can't be every night that would ruin the magic. But when it is, it's true what they say. The lights do indeed shine brighter than anything you could possibly imagine. It's a space we yearn to occupy, just to say we did, to say you saw it first, that you were in the room when it happened, with the thespians and auteurs who seemed so unattainable just a moment ago. In ancient times, our ancestors looked to the stars for guidance, made characters and heroes and stories out of these constellations, stories that calmed the chaos of their lives. At Cannes, we do much of the very same, hoping in part to be elevated to their level, to experience even a small part of their supernatural prowess, if not directly, then as a reflection of their light. Magic that comes from Andersen and Varda and Wong Kar-wai, and the many soon-to-be famous who are just now learning the sorcery, studying how to conjure the imagery and narrative that will hold us captive for years to come. The films that make us cry, that bring us to the brink of ourselves, reaching emotional resonances we initially thought impossible. I mean, how can you not be romantic about cinema? We can't help but view the moments in our lives through a cinematic lens, through filmic language, experiences that felt like scenes from a movie, memories that weave into one another, like shots dissolving into other shots. You're young and naive one moment, smash cut to a weary, ancient man of the world the next, a traveler, a stranger, still tiny compared to the vastness of the world you've explored, just a fraction. Where does the time go? Are my best adventures yet behind me? My world doubled in size this con. In being transported to this place, I found something buried deep inside myself, a voice I ignored for far too long that yearned for something more out of life, something grander than the lot I'd grown accustomed to. You can feel this sense of urgency, this immediacy in southern France, the energy that flows from the people's intense love of cinema. But cinema doesn't reside here. It exists everywhere, around us at all times, in the stories we recognize as worth telling, in the people who don't wait for life to come to them. There's still so much of my story to be told, and the rest of life's time left to experience it. I anticipate that journey, welcome it like a friend, because when the waves wash over Cannes' shores and the rocky cliffs begin to crumble, we'll still have stories. We'll need them then more than ever, and we'll have plenty to hold us over. Sincerely yours. Mind Theater is a solo effort produced and written by me, Aowa Kingbade. For only $3 a month, you could support the show on Patreon. It really helps a lot. The link is in the description box below. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.